Okay, so 2 upsets last night, making it 8 on the week. That's the most we've had all year. I made a TikTok saying week 14 was already the weirdest week, but it's like confirmed. This was the strangest week we've had this season. Also, as far as Miami goes, you know, I could sit here and just really ream you guys, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say this. I have a funny feeling that our game the last week of the season is gonna be for the AFC East title. I look forward to it. Anyway, what is going on, guys? In today's video, I am going to be ranking every NFL team's receiving room. I was talking about my favorite receiver duos on Twitter yesterday, and it got me thinking that certain teams go a lot deeper than duos, and then that just made me want to rank all of them, so we're gonna do that today. Couple of plugs as always. Don't forget to use code WyattzWorld on G Fuel or Prize Picks, where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit. But that's all I got. Let's get into ranking every team's wide receivers. Alright, so here's the list we're going to be working with today, where I'm going to be separating each team's receiving room into. At the top, we're going to have the elites. Under that, we're going to have the above average. Towards the middle, we'll have the solid receiving rooms. Under that, we'll have the receiving rooms that are a one-man army. Under that, we'll have the receiving rooms who aren't very good. And bottoming out, we've got straight buns. Understand? Cool. Let's get started with the Saints. Solid. I mean, can we really say they're above average anymore? Michael Thomas is no longer a factor on that team. He is hurt every single year. Chris Olave is really good. I think Shaheed is gonna be really good. But especially this year with their offensive coordinator sabotaging them every game, it's just hard to say that, you know, like they're great. Now we got the Falcons. Remember, tight ends don't count. This is strictly receivers. So I'm gonna say not very good. And that is not a shot at Drake London. I love Drake London, and he just had a great game. But it's not like he's a top 10, top 15 even receiver. And outside of him, they got nobody. It's ass. Up next, we got the 49ers. And now I said it does go deeper than just the duos. But in certain instances, duos are enough to make you an elite. And that is what the 49ers are. I don't think Juwan Jennings is bad. I don't know about Chris Conley or Ray McLeod, the other backups. But if you're just looking at Ayuk and Debo, arguably the best duo in the league. Those two are on another level. They're fucking crazy. Arizona. Buns! Straight buns! What is it, man? Rondell Moore, Hollywood Brown, and Michael Wilson? Buns! Now we got the Bears. It's a one-man army over there. DJ Moore is outstanding, but it's a one-man army. All right, moving on, we got Philly. I'm going to say they're in the elites as well because of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Kind of ridiculous if you look at their other receivers too, like Quez Watkins or Zacchaeus. Like, they have nothing. It has just been a two-man show there. But with that being said, the two men are fucking outstanding. Now we got Seattle. Elite. DK, Lockett, Jackson Smith now. DK and Lockett, I mean, that had him in above average alone because Lockett is getting a little bit older now. But Jackson Smith just adds an extra pop to that room where even when Lockett does start to fizzle out, they're going to have someone to take his spot right there, man. I love their receivers. Now we got the Giants. Buns! Do they have one guy over 500 receiving yards on the season? And they do have some young guys who I think could be good, like Jalen Hyatt and Juan Dale. But the team just ain't doing anything with the receivers this year. Now we got Buffalo. Solid. Yeah, Diggs is outstanding. Top 5 receiver in the league. I know he's been on a little bit of a slump lately, but outside of him, you got Khalil Shakir and Gabe Davis, who will either turn up or be a ghost, one of the two with no in-between. Like, it's not like we have an above-average elite receiving room or anything. I know our tight end is good now. He ain't a receiver. Carolina. Buns! Straight up buns, brother. I mean, what, John Mingo, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark? Get out of here. All right, now we got the Rams, and I'm actually only going to give them an above average, and hear me out. The duo is elite, Kupp and Puka, just like these guys up here, but Kupp is also 30, and he is getting hurt every year. And when Cooper Kupp leaves that team, and you look at that receiving room, it's going to be Tutu Atwell, Puka, and Demarcus Robinson, and that's not going to be pretty. But for right now, they are pretty. I think they're definitely still above average. Now we got the Colts. Solid. They got a really underrated receiving room. Michael Pittman's good. Alec Pierce is underrated. Josh Downs is actually having a good year. That's a young group of guys. They're going to be around for a while. I like it. Moving on, we got the Steelers. I think they're solid. I actually like Pickens and Deontay Johnson. I know Deontay is kind of a douche, but those two are just being held back by a completely incoherent offense. Look back a couple years ago, you can see how good and explosive Deontay Johnson can be. And George Pickens, I think we've all seen getting glimpses of the player he wants to be and can be, but this team is just not allowing him to do it. Moving on, we got the Bengals. Elite, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. I know they battled a ton of adversity this year. Things are a little bit slower for, I think, all of them. But when you get a group of 3 receivers together, I don't think that there's a better 3 on a team than that. Dallas, above average. They got CeeDee Lamb, who has been a dog. Then they got Brandon Cooks, who's a good step down from him, but, you know, he's been around. He's kind of like Gabe Davis. He's either there or he's not. Then you got Michael Gallup, who is serviceable. And then the 4 or 5 speed demons they have roasting on their bench. Like, it's not elite, but it's definitely above the average room. And that'll bring us to Denver. I'm gonna say it's a one-man army to Cortland Sutton, who has 699 yards and 10 touchdowns right now. The only other guy that's surrounding him there that's actually doing something is Jerry Jeudy, but he has 1 touchdown on the year and he either gets 50 yards a game or he gets 10. Cortland Sutton's actually been unbelievable this year. Moving on, we got the Lions. Above average. I actually think they have a very underrated receiving room for how people view them. Like, yeah, St. Brown is elite. Josh Reynolds is also not that bad. Jamison Williams, if they let him play more, I'm fairly certain he would actually start to do really good now. And then they have Donovan Peoples-Jones just sitting on their bench too. Like, they have a good group of receivers. Titans. That's the definition of a one-man army. D-Hop or nothing. Dude, what is it with the Titans and first-round wide receivers? Treylon Burks, Corey Davis, like they just don't work out there. Moving on, we got the Packers. Solid. They got nobody on their team that's doing out of this world, but they got 3 guys that are all doing like pretty damn good, and that's Romeo Doubs, who I've always thought is underrated, Christian Watson, who I'm starting to believe in, and now Jaden Reed. Let them grow for a year or 2. They could be deadly. Now moving on, we got the Patriots, and I want to say straight buns, but that's not the truth. They're better than straight buns, man. Juju, he's talented. Kendrick Bourne is hurt, but he was doing good. Demario Douglas doesn't look bad. Devontae Parker is serviceable. Like, they're not the worst in the world. They're just not very good. Now we got Cleveland. Solid. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, not bad. Other than that, though, it's a little lousy. Cedric Tillman, David Bell, Marquise Goodwin, like, you guys are lucky you have a decent 1-2. Now we got Miami. I'm still gonna put them in elite with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. That's enough alone. And if there's any salty Ram fans out there saying you have Tyreek in elite, but he's old like Cooper Kupp is now, Tyreek Hill hasn't been missing time like Cooper Kupp, brother. And even if Tyreek doesn't play another snap this year, he still has 1,500 yards on the year. Like, he has been unfucking real. So that's the difference. All right, moving on, we got the Vikings. I'm gonna say above average in just that, and I'll explain it because Justin Jefferson, clearly I think he's still the best in the league. I think Jordan Addison is going to be very good. He has made some minor errors this year that I think, you know, he will correct as he grows. But outside of those 2, you got KJ Osborne, who I think fucking sucks, and then Brandon Powell, I think. I either want to see Jordan Addison take that leap or they need to get some depth. Texans, above average. Okay, Nico Collins has been electric. Tank Dell, before he got hurt, was really, really good. Then to back that up, they got Noah Brown and Robert Woods. Those 2 can play as well. Like, that's a really good room. Now we got Baltimore. Solid. Look, Zay Flowers having a great rookie year. Odell having a good year for an old guy. Then you should have Rashad Bateman, but unfortunately, he's just not developing. And then you got Nelson Aguilar, so you know what I mean. It's good, but it's not that powerful. Chargers. Healthy Chargers with Keenan, Mike, and Josh Palmer. I think that's an above average squad. That's where I'm going to put them. But right now, yeah, they're probably slacking a little bit. New York, one-man army. That might be more of a one-man army than DeAndre Hopkins over there with Garrett Wilson. Actually, I think he is literally like the only receiver that they throw at. That guy's gonna have 1,000 yards again with no quarterback. Moving on, we got Jacksonville. I actually think they have an above average room. I like Zay Jones. He's had a resurrected career. And then on top of that, you got Calvin Ridley, who's finally starting to come back to earth, and Christian Kirk, who has been really good over the last couple of years. I know he's on the IR now, but that guy's been a dog, man. Like, they have a good 3. Now moving on, we got the Chiefs. Not very good. I like Rashee Rice, but other than him, I hate every single one of them. Now we got the Bucks. I think they're above average because they have a great 1-2 punch with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but outside of those 2, who are both getting older, by the way, it's gonna be really, really bad. Raiders, above average. Jacoby Myers is fucking good, okay? Let's get that out of the way right now. And on top of that, they have Devontae Adams and then Hunter Renfrow, who hasn't been that good in recent years, but is still serviceable. That's an above average room. And And ending, we've got the Commanders. And I honestly kind of want to give them an elite room. I'm not going to. I'm going to say they're above average as well, but they have a good group of guys there. You got Curtis Samuel, who's always been underrated. Jahan Dotson, who has silently come alive this year. Terry McLaurin, one of the most consistent receivers out there. Then on the bench, you got guys like Diami Brown, who can make plays, or Jamison Crowders, who's a veteran. Like that, I think is very good. And that is also going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for me ranking every NFL team's wide receiving room. It's also going to be all I got for you guys today. If you are continuing to enjoy my content, you already know what to do. Comment, like, subscribe, turn that bell on. I try my best to post every single weekday. However, with everything I just said, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and as always, I will see you in the next video.